Hello there, and welcome to Global Formula Automobilista Season 2, where we are at Round 4, the French Grand Prix here at Magny-Cours, where, as you can see, we have a new pole sitter for the season. Yes, for the first time this season, Nick Heidfeld from High-Tech isn't on pole. Instead, Taki Inoue takes his maiden pole position for Cass Racing, also their first pole position. So great start for the maroon and yellow team. Sterling Moss takes second for Red Knight. Can they finally get their first podium? Kumaro Kobayashi does put High-Tech in third, so they're up there at least still, but not in the front row. Lewis Hamilton takes fourth for Cass Racing ahead of Jim Clark and Siggy Pop. Fangio up in sixth. That's a brilliant climb for him after some lackluster races recently. David Brabham takes seventh for Polestar ahead of former championship leader Bertrand Gachot for Polestar Performance. Stefan Beloff is ninth for Bavera ahead of Alain Prost in the Falcon. Valentino Rossi takes 11th ahead of Sebastian Vettel for Harvey Racing, the highest placed driver who hasn't yet scored any points this season. Only 3 drivers with that unfortunate accolade. Gilles Villeneuve is 13th ahead of Ayrton Senna in 14th, and Antonio Felix da Costa in 15th for DTK Racing. Jenson Button takes 16th ahead of Phil Hill and Dan Gurney, with Sophia Flörsch, another driver not scored points yet, in 19th. Damon Hill takes 20th for Jaws ahead of Max Verstappen for NLE Motorsport in 21st. Sergio Perez is 22nd, and Michael Schumacher, the other driver not scored points yet, in 23rd. John Watson's 24th ahead of Nigel Max in 26th, and Mika Hakkinen 26th. Now, you might be thinking, but hang on, where are our 2 race winners? Well, everything's conspired against them in qualifying, as Argentina race winner Chris Hoy is starting in 27th. Now double race winner, and the man who's had all the pole positions this season, Nick Heidfeld, is starting this race dead last in 28th position. Somehow that has happened, and therefore, well, 2 of the fastest drivers racing their way up through from the back of the grid. This is going to be fun to watch. Anyway, so we've got Inoue on pole and Moss in second, Kobayashi in third. Let's see what's going to happen as the lights get ready. Inoue from the first position. Lights are out and away we go. Moss gets a bit of a launch and he's up next to Inoue. Well, he's not, as Kobayashi streaks around the outside of Sterling Moss. So great move, there's a little bit of contact. There's some dust in the back of the pack. Then streaks through the exit of Estoril as dust in the grass. There's a car off, there's a Bangalore off on the dirt. It is Sergio Perez. Is he going to get that going? Yes, he is. Inoue's there, and Moss back up the inside of Kobayashi. Kobayashi actually wide onto the gravel. Kobayashi drops back to 6th as we've got another one. We've got a Polestar off onto the dirt. We've got loads of cars off in the background. I think Heidfeld was in that mess. Yes, he was, so we're going to find out what happened. I hope he's on the inside of the slot, trying to follow Chris Hoy. Perez has gone wide, he's been forced off into the dirt. And so Heidfeld up the inside of Hoy has actually sent it up the inside of so many cars. That was brave, but his understeers wide. It's clipped on the jaws and then he's stuck. That was, I don't know if that was brave or stupid, but there was a hell of a lot of confidence in that High-Tech. But this way, if he hadn't carried so much speed and understeered off wide here on the curb, that would have been an incredible move. But one of about 4 cars there at the back have had to skip across the gravel. So Inoue leads for about 7/10 from Moss as Hamilton's up to 3rd now. Spangio's dropped down to, or climbed up to 4th even. And Kobayashi's all the way down in 6th. Not the greatest start from him. Felix da Costa up to 12th and Phil Hill up to 13th. Good job there for the Excelsior. Prost is down to 16th, so not a great start for him. Chris Hoy already up into 18th place from 27th on the grid. That is a monstrous start. Max has followed him up, Staffin's climbed a bit, Gurney's dropped, Heidfeld up 6 places, although we know that was after some interesting driving as Michael Schumacher's just mounted Damon Hill into the final corners. Hill is now having to battle Hakkinen here at the back, but they're all through fine. So Inouye leads off the first lap, Sterling Moss in second place. Hamilton do, what can Clark do, and what can Kobayashi do? Because Kobayashi's got some supreme power in the back of that high-tech. High-tech now, along with Cass, are the two teams that have full power in the car. Those engines aren't going to get upgraded anymore, as Vettel's on the exit curb there. Felix da Costa having to defend from Jenson Button. He's in a bit of a Harvey Sandbench, the GTK driver. They're all happily plugging along through here. As Chris Hoy up the inside there. American Senna, who's now... Oh, he's got up the inside of Hill as well. Not quite. Hill's got the better line through the exit of it. And now Senna's going to come back at Hoy, but not into Imola. Imola's a bit too quick of a chicane. He's a dive bomb as Hoy. Hoy sitting up the inside of Phil Hill. He's already up 11 places after not even 2 laps. That is an incredible drive from the BTK driver. Nick Heidfeld's also made up a position on this lap. He's up into 21st, so these two are probably going to have a lot of fun as Hoy's actually forced wide there into the Luce corner. He lost 2 more places in all that. There's a button round the outside of Felix da Costa through turn 3. That's a great move there. We've got some great overtaking moves as some out of position cars are trying to work their way up the back. And all this Sterling Moss is kind of stopping the Cass drivers pulling away. In the background, I think that was... Yes, Jenson Button being forced wide by Gilles Villeneuve, I think it was. So here's the move we do on Felix. So he's in the slipstream with Felix da Costa, goes for the inside line, Felix leaves him space, comes to the outside line for 3 and on the marbles, but Button's got the line, takes the position. As we head down, so oh, Villeneuve has obviously got past Felix da Costa there and just sent it at the inside, and Button's had to been wary enough to just let him through. Got 3 wide back here. Damon Hill and John Watson. Watson having a look at Mansell, and Mansell runs a bit wide from Nürburgring, but Watson leaves him space and allows Mansell to take the position back. There's contact there between the 2 KF1s. All this has allowed Perez to actually catch back up to the pack after his off-track moment early on. Nick Heidfeld's back right behind Chris Hoy. Hoy's not had that much fun this lap after being pushed wide at Luce. Then here on the previous lap, Felix da Costa's going to be wary of losing out moves there. So Vettel's now behind Gasher, and Gasher's actually quite close in the slipstream behind I think that's Rossi. When the name tags have got there, they've gone. Fixed it. I accidentally pressed the wrong button somewhere and I lost the name tags. Heidfeld does seem to have got past Chris Hoy in the background. Yes, he has. The power of the high-tech still had to streak past BTK. That's hard we're going to do into 180. Oh, it's Chris Hoy's rear wing's gone. He's been rear-ended by Dan Gurney there. Not too sure what's happened there. As Gurney missed his brake. So there's Heidfeld up the inside of Hoy. Fairly standard move in the slipstream, a bit more power. Always thinking what he can do. I think he's nowhere behind. Gurney's just, his brakes just didn't work. He just didn't slow down. So Gurney's now hit Chris Hoy. Both of them are now going to have to pit this lap. Yep. So Hoy's charge from the back has been stunned quite early, and it's probably too early for him to make it to the end on 2 stops, so that's not going to go well. Mansell was really on the dirt there on the exit of him, but that could have ended so badly. Taki Inoue, 1:22.0, sets new fastest lap. Schumacher trying to go around the outside of Hoy. Got Hoy's of course going into the pit lane this lap, so he's got to take a different line there. They streak through. So Inui's lead is hovering at about a second. Not much more, not much less. Hoy pit's going, yet they're in. Moss is trying to keep him company, but isn't doing that great. Hamilton's there or thereabouts, but again, still not really close enough to do anything. Fangio, so these top drivers are just kind of starting to settle in for the moment. Kobayashi's got the power and the grip over these guys, but just doesn't seem to be as confident. So he's not streaking past as I was expecting him. Well, I'd expect his teammate to. Ross is holding Gasho up there. Actually, Felix da Costa has fallen back a long way in the last couple of laps. He's actually now behind Nick Heidfeld. So maybe Felix has had a moment, or has he been pushed wide at the hairpin? Yes, he's gone wide, so Button, bit of contact from Button it seems, and da Costa's on the gravel. Gravel at the exit of Adelaide. Has fallen back to 18th, so not a good couple of laps of DTK racing there. Still goes, Inouye takes him 5/10 off his fastest lap. Yes, he's seriously putting a marker down and gapping Moss now. 1.7 seconds, are you mad?
Yellow flag.
I think we might have a problem with that. Yeah, there's a yellow flag back here somewhere. There's Heidfeld and of course something's happened at the chicane, which I haven't seen. So Heidfeld and Felix da Costa side by side. Oh, a bit of contact. And oh, we've got Felix da Costa in the wall at the exit of the final chicane. That massive hit for the DTK drive. So 2 laps go from bad to worse for DTK. Heidfeld pushes him, puts his foot down, but bang, that wall is unforgiving to say the least. Flörsch is involved. She's lost her front wing because Felix is... Oh no, she's hit the wall as well. If she hits the wall as well. Is anyone else going to join in the fun? No, at the moment it's just a few front wings bouncing around. That is a humongous accident on the exit of the final corner, which has ended Felix da Costa's race right there. So Felix becomes our first retirement of the day. Yes, I forgot to say this in the grid lineup at the beginning. I did have to restart this race, so I had recorded it then, but forgot to do it now. Yes, unfortunately, Bad Ray Motorsport have pulled out of the championship, so the grid is down to 28 cars. So yeah, Felix is finishing 28th rather than 30th as our first retirement. So unfortunately, Jean Lazy and Charles Leclerc are no longer part of the championship, so if anyone wants to sign them, you can. Otherwise, yeah. So down to 28 cars. It does mean there are now 2 team spots on the grid that can fill it up, and before we have to bring in pre-qualifying. So anybody new watching, if you're watching this bit, please feel free to come to RaceDepartment, come to the thread, sign up and join up. Yeah, maybe you could be, like NLE Motorsport here, the first champions. I mean, look at this, Cass Racing, Taki Inouye has pulled a 3-second gap at the front. Cass joined halfway through the last season. Look where they are now, so who knows, this could be you next season. So Moss has basically given up, it seems, because Inouye's put his foot down and Moss cannot keep up. Hamilton's not closing up like his teammate is disappearing though, so he's not staying as close to Moss as you'd think he probably should do. Fangio's keeping him honest, Clark's around, and Kobayashi is disappointing, to be honest. I'd have thought Kobayashi should be doing so much more than just being sat in 6th, having been pushed wide on the first lap. we're very close to the Felix da Costa wall. Ah, is this his chance? He's got to run on Clark here. He's really close. Good exit to Estoril. And he should be able to power his way down the straight. What are we thinking? The intersection is going to the inside. This should be a pretty easy move. Kobayashi up the inside of Clark. As long as he's not on the gravel like Jim. Clark is on the exit. He's fine. He's done. It's Rossi there to defend from Brabham. Brabham goes wide and Gasho slots through. So Brabham loses a couple of positions in that corner by going wide onto the gravel. Yeah, Heifeld now up to 17th for his. He started 28th. You know, it's something. You've got to give him that. And lost up at the back, and Dan Gurnier pulls off losing his front wing. Chris Hoyne, Spear Flash, Felix da Costa in the wall. Taki Inoue through the final chicane. Doing a good job. Moss, well, I mean, he's still in second, I suppose, and he has got a decent gap to Hamilton. 22-0, so Moss has responded. He has responded. There was only a 10th loss to Inoue on that lap. He's put away from Hamilton at 4/10 a lap. So that's something. And he's given that. Kobayashi has completely left Clark for dead now after that. His Benoff is now the cork in the bottle with Rossi sat behind. Can Rossi do anything on the Bravera this lap? He get close on the braking, but nothing monumental that's going to cause an overtake. Vettel, Villeneuve and Button are super close again. Heidfeld running around 17th, hoping to make a few positions. I mean, it's lap 9, it's only 2 places away from the points already. Yeah, that is stunning driving, really. Even if he did have to shove a yellow car into a wall to make that positions up, but who am I to say anything? Let's ride for a lap with Lewis Hamilton. So at the final chicane, it's a pretty short start, straight and very fast left-hander, which he's taken this slightly. 2 is a nothing kink. 3 is a long, changing, uphill, right-hander. He's got a great exit up this. Straight with a couple of kinks in it. Yeah, with golf. And the biggest braking point on the lap from the top speed into the Adelaide hairpin. Don't go into the gravel. You'll be fine. Now down the next straight. Into the right left to Nürburgring. Fast chicane which is taken in 4th gear. Big curvy braking point into the hairpin. Do what you can on the inside, and then curved acceleration zone. That means you can't just plant your foot and forget about it. Stay left for Imola. Really sweeping down and then uphill. Bit of a climb to the Chateau d'Eau corner. That corner, that's terrible on the curves there, Lewis. Under the bridge. On the left hand kink, stay left as much as you can for the tight right hander that's afterwards. And then finish the lap through this clumsy chicane. Don't hit the wall on the outside. That is a lap of Magny-Cours. 1:23.0, so a truly terrible lap. He's lost 4/10 to Fangio and about 6/10 to Moss, so they were pretty much all in the Chateau d'Eau corner when he hit the curb and bounced wide. So Hamilton's not on it today, really, which explains why Moss is pulling away and his teammate is disappearing into the distance. Kobayashi can't make any inroads at the moment on the cars in front of him. Benoff's low downforce package is the only thing really keeping ahead of the Siggy Pop, and the Polestar have got a lot more power than him. Brabham's falling back now after his off-track moment. And Vettel is far enough ahead of Villeneuve for the moment. They shouldn't be at risk. Heidfeld still 17th, although he is just starting to close up towards Senna. Makes me seem like it's going to take, but he's 22 seconds off the lead, so it's going to take some miracles if he wants that victory today. Turns in a bit early over that curb. So here we go. So Rossi's got more power than Baloff and has got more downforce, so he should be able to really close up through these corners. Get close to the extra restaurant, sit in the slipstream down the straight. However, Beloff's low downforce and higher gearing allows him to just pull away down here. Is this going to be enough for Rossi? Is he going to outbrake him and try and send it? He's not brave enough. Not brave enough to just launch one up the inside. He has got the downforce, so he should be able to... Oh, Rossi's lifting. Why was Rossi lifting? He lifted very early there, and that was uncharacteristic. Gasho got caught up in that, not sure what was happening. Rossi seems to be fine. It was 154 miles an hour at the speed he was doing. He was staying constant. Might be lifting coast fuel saving, but I highly doubt it. This is AI, remember, not artificial intelligence. Lifting coast, that's not intelligence. Beloff's got it wrong for Chateau d'Eau. Rossi's having to think about it. He sends up the inside into Liche. There's contact between the pair of them. Beloff trying to hold it around the outside. Rossi, is he forced into the wall? No, he's not. They're told about what happened to Felix Costa when he leaves the space. This allows Gasho to sit right behind, but now Rossi he's got Beloff shook. What can he do about it now? He's really in the slipstream. Is this a chance for Gasho to settle up the inside of Rossi? We'll see as we head into the corners. Contact between Gasho and Rossi. Rossi's forced out wide, and I think Bram's going to go through as well, and Rossi's on the gravel. So the time of the contact from Gasho has allowed both Polestars to get past the Siggy Pop. That is a slightly dodgy one, I must say, but all's fair in... Is it fair? Who knows? But with Clark up ahead and disappearing even further into the distance, Polestar need everything they can to, you know, catch up with Siggy Pop, who they're in a bit of a ding-dong battle in the championship with. There's some solid points there for Polestar gained with that little manoeuvre, especially as Vettel is closing up and the next part of the pack could start swallowing Rossi back up into the midfield. Heidfeld's still closing, but not as rapidly as you'd expect. So his lap in clear air was 23.1. He must be playing the long game. There's no way he's doing those lap times unironically. Chris Hoy and Dan Gurney, that's a developing battle that's going to be for absolutely nothing because they're too far back. Back at the front, Taki Inui's now got almost 4.5 second lead now. So he's steadily pulling away. Good job from the cask driver. Moss up to second, or still in second. Hamilton's not keeping up with him at all. Fangio, that said, isn't keeping up either. Kobayashi's closing. I can see this being a move at some point in the next few laps. Kobayashi, he's got the speed, although like we've seen with Beloff, Fangio's low downforce setup is probably the thing keeping him ahead, just because Kobayashi's high downforce is negating the massive power advantage he has over the Red Knight. Also, it's CAC driving, and the fact that he's nowhere close to him, the extra Vesteril isn't going to help either. Because, oh what a surprise, Kirby actually hasn't made a move and planned to go down that straight. Gasho's not really close enough to Belloff to think how to move yet. Although it would seem that Rossi and this pack have at least dropped Vettel behind us. Button sends up the inside of Villeneuve, and Villeneuve is fed onto the gravel. So, it looks like a really effective manoeuvre actually. Just go up the inside and shove them onto the gravel, and you've got that position, and the guys behind you are going to follow through. Villeneuve holds it around the outside of Phil Hill into Nürburgring. That is a tough corner to make a move like that work. So, epic driving. Polestar is really close now to the back of Stefan Belloff. Trying to find a way through. It's 2/10. Is Gasher going to think about diving to Lache? Not really. And across the line again. To Estoril. Can Gasho's extra downforce get him closer to the back of the Bravera? It would seem so. It's less than 3/10. It's closer than it was last lap. Got extra downforce. Is it worth sending it on the brakes? He's decided not to, and it's caught Bravo out a tiny bit there. We head up towards Nürburgring. It's no change. They bounce over the cambers and into the hairpin. Holding on for another lap, but the new race lead is now 5 seconds. So 22.3 for a new race that lap, compared to Moss's 22.8, so he's half a second on that lap as well. That's pretty impressive. It really is. So Newey's got everything he wants. His Brabham goes a bit wide. He's going to have to try and deal with Rossi. Rossi ran the outside of Bunch, getting so close to clipping that wall. Rossi gets the position back for David Brabham, who's up into ninth, but now they're a long way behind Gasho. So now, without anybody behind, can Gasho use this as a chance to get Belloff? He's not having to defend, it's just attack, attack, attack. Come on, you got the downforce. You can brake so much later than this guy. Why aren't you doing it? I don't know. I really don't know. It's worth noting that Nick Heidfeld has got past Nathan Senna somewhere. He's up to 16th place. If it's not in the next few corners, I'm just going to up and free play. If it's not Adelaide, then oh no! So he's closed up to Senna to the Nürburgring chicane and just driven to the inside line at 180 degrees. Lovely, very simple move. What can Gasher do now? Sat behind Belloff. He's got clear space behind him, so he doesn't need to worry about his teammates sending one up the inside. Let's see what we can do. We should get in. They're both pretty equal through there, actually. That's really the point. So Gasher's not going to have to lift as much through the first corner. He should be able to get on the throttle earlier, as they're both sliding out of Estoril. That's probably enough for Gasho to not have a chance. Yeah, Belloff's got it. As they make it into the braking point. All good. Rossi still ahead of Brabham, Telbuck and Prost as well as Heidfeld now at the inside of Phil Hill. So Nick Heidfeld from last on the grid. Lap 18 is already in the points. How high can he climb? That's going to be the thing we're looking out for. As this race streaks on. As we go further back, so Schumacher and Perez are 23rd, 24th for Bangalore. Not gone well for them here. Gurney is miles off Excelsior. And Chris Hoy is in 26th. That's so uncivilised to be back there. And Sophia Flörsch, of course, the other. So Flörsch and Schumacher haven't scored points yet, and it's not looking likely at the moment that they're going to get that. The other driver is Sebastian Vettel, who's just had like so many unlucky moments this season. He's had so many blow-ups from points playing positions. He's sat in 11th here. What can he get away with? Gasher again stuck behind Beloff. Another Adelaide hairpin moment. Another failed overtake. Or, well, it's only a failed overtake. He didn't even attempt it. That's a sad thing. He's probably quicker than Beloff and should be trying to catch up with the lead group, but he just can't get past the Bravera Racing driver. And he struggles. Every time he struggles, Jim Clark just streaks off into the distance even more. Through harsh chicane onto another lap. Gosh, I mean, he's half a tenth quicker. He's definitely the quicker of the two drivers. 2/10. This is the closest I've seen Gasho to Beloff the entire race. Sit in the slipstream, mate, and just send it on the brakes. Just send it. You have the downforce. Come on, go for it. Too passive. Too passive. You're not going to make any moves if you don't attempt it when you've got close enough, which is what he's done now. So many times. Come on, you've got the downforce. Do what Heidfeld's done and overtake into this corner. I can't see why he'd be sat behind that. It's not really a tactical decision. It's not like he's using it as a chance to sit in the slipstream and pull away, because he's losing all the time in the middle sector where he's quicker. Can't get a good exit out of Chateau d'Eau, so that doesn't work either. So he's not close enough into the. I mean, it's LYCE with a acute. Is it acute? Whatever it is, it's an accent going to the right. Another E. Is that Lycée, Lychee, Lychee? I haven't counted corner numbers, I'm just gonna... It begins LYC, has E at the end. Is this Gasho's opportunity? While I'm yabbling about a corner name in the language I can't speak, Gasho up the inside gets past Beloff, and Beloff is on the gravel for good measure, which is going to allow Rossi to slot through as well, making it another position, so Beloff loses 2 places in one corner. As Gasho basically after so much anger from me telling him why aren't you doing any moves, he's finally made his mind up and has got past Beloff and is streaking away already. So impressive driving there from Bertrand Gasho. Well, it's probably about 6 laps too late. Beloff now has actually got it wrong through Chateau d'Eau. And Brabham is going to follow up there. He's not going to be able to get a launch into Beloff into the unpronounceable corner. Oh, he's got his line through the chicane tragically wrong there. So Kobe actually he's 4 tenths behind Fangio, but again he can't make the move just as much as Beloff was able to hold off Gasho. Taki Inoue's lead is now 6.8 seconds. As we must be starting to get close to the pit window soonish. And it's going to remain to be seen who's going to pit first, who's going to blink first, and how, what traffic are these guys going to be dropped into? Because traffic can ruin your race if you pit too early and find that you're in this massive battle here for 11th, for example. The Button's already 29 seconds behind Vettel, behind Inoue, and we know this is a short pit lane where you can get away with short pit stops, but we'll see. See how this goes. I felt up 15th and comfortable, although he's got a point as it stands. Chris Horner's gap to Gurney hasn't really changed, and Fleury hasn't been lapped yet, although it's not going to take long for that to happen, judging by the gap. 7.4 seconds is the lead gap now, so Inoue is flexing his muscles right now. He is disappearing every time we look at him. Hamilton is just nowhere. Passing his teammates is Gasho and Rossi streaked away from Beloff. Now they've had the chance. So this group of four is suddenly spread out, and actually guys behind are starting to catch up, although Brabham is trying to keep close to Beloff. I have a feeling Beloff is going to get swallowed up by the Harveys if he gets behind the Polestar. So here is our race leader, 7.8 seconds now ahead of Sterling Moss. That's just disgustingly quick. So yellow glove driver pulling away down the Adelaide hairpin, up into Nürburgring chicane, down to 4th gear, carry too much speed, somehow make it through, brake for the hairpin, bit of curb, kicks the tail out, but they seem quite happy with that. Again, 4th for Imola, lifts for the second part so he can get to the left with the Chateau d'Eau corner. Quite tight on the apex. Descending down the hill, big braking point into Larche. Clipped the apex a bit late there, but got away with it through the final chicane. Bit of a slide, get close to Felix da Costa wall. And that is a lap. Attacking away, so he's having to lift the turn 1 as well. Although I don't think he's got... No, he's still on the low downforce package. Clark with the high downforce and not as much power, just a tiny lift in the middle of the corner, and they seem quite happy. Gasher in the Polestar is also a downforce boy. More of a lift to get you set up for Estoril than actually to make it round the corner. It's because there's corners afterwards. So here we go, so Valentino Rossi, first driver to get a little bit low on fuel. But actually Jenson Button is coming in this lap. So pit window is open. We know that Vettel's Button, A Harvey Racing, is blinking first and is coming in this lap. Button, that's who it is. So Button's making his pit stop now. A few more drivers getting a bit low, so we'll see who makes it in, who misses out. So Newey cross line 22.7. Moss coming across the line is going to do a 22.5. So Moss slightly quicker than that. Hamilton 22.9 falling away. Fangio 22.9. Kobayashi 22.8. So Kobayashi is starting to put his foot down. Clark 22.7 though. Clark and Kobayashi coming in this lap. Kobayashi is not going to make it to overtake this lap. Judging by that awful Exad Estoril, tyres must be falling apart. 9 plus 23.5 for Beloff, so Beloff is disappearing lap time away from Rossi. And Brabham is just kind of stuck, unable to increase his positioning. Vettel is coming in as well this lap. Russian have followed Harvard at 14th, but that's because the Harvey Racing drivers pitting. Button exits the pits in 20th. And Hill's going to come in this lap, although not for fuel. So Newey is a bit low now. Moss is a bit low. So both these are probably going to pit this lap, but actually Newey is coming up to lap Sophia Flörsch. Although she'll be spared her blushes for a bit, because Newey is going to pit, and she has already pitted to repair damage. So Newey is coming in this lap, Moss is coming in this lap, Hamilton is going to have to do another lap. Andrew carries on, but Kobayashi and Clark racing in the pit lane. Gashing happy right now as yeah, so Siggy Popper actually double stacking their drivers as Rossi fires it into the pit lane way too quick, surely. Brad makes it in for Tell, also making it into pits. Let's see what Hamilton Hardwell can do. So how the CAS team been practicing their pit stops? Taki Inoue is coming in this lap. Into the IG corner. A slightly different line because he knows he's coming in this lap. He hasn't got past Flörsch yet. And Inoue makes it into the pits. Moss is going to follow him in. This Hamilton's going to carry on past to take the lead of the race. Fangio can take second place, but I expect Hamilton's coming in this lap, and Fangio is also coming in this lap, so Inoue exits in third already. Staying out a bit longer has allowed the pack that could have dropped into to actually not be there. Gasher comes in. Kobayashi's ahead of Clark after their pit stops. Villeneuve and Heidfeld also make it into the pits as well. Phil Hill, Brabham, Verstappen. Hackman's going to carry on, get into the points, but he's got to pit. Ross is down in 12th, having made his stop. He's stuck in a bit of traffic, but he's ahead of Beloff. Brabham, Villeneuve, Vettel is going to streak past, is he? It was Brabham and Villeneuve super wide on the exit of the pit lane. Vettel gets through past all of them, so brilliant driving there. And Hill's dropped back behind Chris Hoy. Flörsch and Perez is now last on track. Hamilton into the final corner, makes it into the pit lane. Fangio also making it in. But I think we have a car stopped on track. Out of fuel is Nigel Mansell. Mansell is out of the race, and so is David Brabham. So what's happened to the both of them? Mansell, he's gone into the Nürburgring chicane. Oh, something's gone wrong there. Mansell's lost it through the Nürburgring chicane and spun off into the grass. Stopped in the gravel. Dave Brabham's got going, and his car has died. Something's gone wrong there. So Mansell and Brabham, two drivers off and out of this race, joining Felix da Costa in the wall of retirements. So Newey's got an 8-second lead now. Moss in second and Hamilton back out in third. Fangio's got a drifting Kobayashi trying to keep up with him. Clark is falling on the wheel tracks thinking, can I get through? Gasher's comfortable 7th ahead of Rossi. Benoff now has got Button for company in 10th place. As they're ahead of Prost, and Patel's actually going to come out, and is he going to get past Prost? Oh, that was close. Prost tried to turn into the German, but they avoided it. Hardford now up to 14th after those stops. He's sitting behind Villeneuve thinking, can I get past you? As I think up ahead, Kobayashi has made it past one more Fangio. Totally Nürburgring, he's done pretty good. Is he going to send up the inside? He is. He just lifts off the brakes, sticks up the inside of Fangio and says thank you very much. Clark's going to fight back here. Hardfeld has a look at Villeneuve. Look at Villeneuve, not happening this lap. So Kobayashi uses the pit window as a chance to get past Fangio. That extra couple of laps pitting, and his tyres were up to temperature when he exited the pits and he knew what he was doing. So Clark's going to fall back. Kobayashi streaks away into 4th. Villeneuve is going to keep Heidfeld behind for the middle sector, so that's impressive, as Chris Hoy is coming in pretty soon. After, of course, his rear wing stop earlier, meant he's out of sync, and also still going to have to 2-stop from this point onwards. Hakkinen has also retired. Mika Hakkinen's also retired, and it looks like fuel issues for him as well. So a couple of fuel issues have robbed us of a few drivers. As Kobayashi's really pulled away from Fangio, now he's through. So the low downforce setup really enabling some of these drivers to keep higher powered, higher downforce cars stuck behind them on the straights. I think Jensen Button's about to find that out. Rick Heidfeld's also struggling with that at Gilles Villeneuve's expense. So in this situation he's got great overspeed. Up the inside goes Heidfeld. Epic move. Heidfeld up to 13th place. So Vettel's got Prost behind. Back for 11th place. Clark's now thinking, can I get a Fangio? Move myself off into 5th. Now David Bradman's retired, it's looking handy for C-Pop to make up some more places on the pink cars in the championship, get some more points. So only is Clark ahead of Gasho. Rossi's in the points as well, so that's going to help. Now 2 seconds behind Fangio. Can he do anything about it? It's going to have to be a late lunge. From that far back, it's not going to happen. Chris Hoy's coming in this lap. Dan Gurney doesn't seem to be coming in yet. Well, they pitted at the same time, so perhaps Gurney's going to do an extra lap and put an extra lap of fuel in. There's that behind us. Vettel has dropped back behind Heidfeld. Actually, 2 places. So Prost had a look. Heidfeld's also had a look. Vettel's been pushed wide. And that's where these guys have all slotted through then. Heidfeld's 12th now. He sends up the inside. Bit of contact with Prost there. Pushing the Frenchman wide at his home race. Prost fights back, pushes Heidfeld towards the dirt and says, not quite yet, thank you very much. Heidfeld tries to get the inside of Imola, but that's a brave move and best of days. So now what can Vettel do? Hyper's had a compromised line through Chateau d'Eau. Prost is now holding this entire pack up. Slow downforce is not helping. Actually, Vettel's got an awful exit out the final chicane. Gilles Villeneuve is actually considering up the inside. Vettel's got the downforce to do it. Hyper's actually swept past Prost through the first corner while I was saying that. No, he's just got up the inside. Prost is left in space, and Hyper's extra downforce has said, I can make that move happen. So impressive driving there. Heifeld moves up another place. He's nearly at the top 10. Clark is right on the back of Fangio now. Both of them squabbling has allowed Kobayashi to streak away at 3.5 seconds plus. Yeah, one of them makes a mistake here. Clark could find a way through down at Lache. Doesn't look like he has. Always thinking about it. He thought about that lunge. Definitely later on the brakes. Yeah, it's going to be a lunge, not a controlled overtake, so he thought against it, especially with Fangio's track positioning. Clark following Fangio through his first corners. He's got the grip. He really does. Just needs to find the speed down the straight to get past him at the next corner. But Fangio's pulling away. Fangio is pulling away from Clark. So Clark is going to have to invent something, probably through the middle sector. Seeing 180 is a very good overtaking spot. And I'm brave enough to take it, really. Don't think this is a lap. And it isn't. Oh, Fangio's exit out of there was awful. He took too much curb. Clark's going to be close. Not close enough, really. He's closing in on the brakes. He's got more downforce. He really is closing up. It's not conducive to an overtake, which I'm going to be struggling with. If you look back from Fangio, so you can see the difference in the rear wings. Fangio's got so little drag in comparison to Clark. Clark does close up on the brakes, but he's not brave enough to go to the inside and force the issue. This is where it's all falling apart. Now, this could be his opportunity. Fangio's a bit wide on the entrance, but no, Clark didn't force it. He needs to. This is what I was saying about Gasher earlier. He's just not brave enough in the right places to get a move done. It's up ahead, actually. Hamilton is under similar pressure from Kamui Kobayashi in third place, although Kobayashi's just done a really stupid bit of driving through Chateau d'Eau and has lost time. Clark has kept up. And this does seem to be his corner. He's so much better into it, but not better enough to get a pass done. So the rear view from Hamilton shows that Kobayashi is close. 2/10 in fact. This could be a move. This could be a move if Kobayashi was a bit more brave. Actually, Kobayashi thinks about it. On the inside. Hamilton's run wide. Hamilton's onto the grass. Hamilton's onto the gravel. So Hamilton drops back to 4th place as Kobayashi disappears off into the distance thanks to that. Fangio survives another lap against Clark. Clark is so much tighter than Nürburgring. Can he use this as a chance? I think he can get super close. He's got a tighter line to 130, 180 even. But you see that in the background. Bertrand Gachot is not too far away from this pack. So Gachot could cause these guys some strife. Do you see someone at the background pitting, but I think it might be Sophia Flourish. It is. So, no panic. Clark is so much tighter on the turn-ins for these chicanes. So Clark getting a good way into all these corners and just giving him perfect exits. I mean, you look at, he's right on the bumper of the red knight now. This has got to be your chance now, surely. But no, Clark just isn't close enough. Is this his chance? He has to think about it. There is contact and Fangio's on the gravel. Clark gets half a chance and just bumps him out of the way. Fangio crossing back towards the racing line holds Gachot. Gachot's going to have such a launch. Can he send it? He's not brave enough. Takinori having to deal with, there's a Bangalore without a front wing there. I'm going to try and find out what happened there. Yeah, Schumacher's lost his. Oh, he's actually hit his front teammate. So Perez is, oh, that is a horrible thing to watch if you're the Bangalore manager. Perez has taken too much curve on the inside, he's spun it round, and Schumacher had nowhere to go. Absolute disaster. You're fighting for, well, nothing, and you still manage to screw it up. So Newell loses a bit of time trying to lap those guys, but not really enough. Clark's got past Fangio, of course, in this lap, so now it's Gachot's turn. Although again, Gachot's got the downforce, but not the top speed. Which is definitely going to harm him. Jenson Button has got past Stefan Beloff finally. Is it? No way. Oh, brilliant move. Brilliant move, Button. Just gets the exit to Imola, takes a much shorter line to the apex of the corner. Hard on the brakes. Brilliant move. That's what we've been waiting for ages. Beloff is having a look back at Button, but just doesn't have the downforce on the brakes. He has it down the straights. Certainly, definitely did. Massively had it down the straights, but he just couldn't get through on the brakes. Heimfeld very white, taking a different line here. Is Gachot now having a look at Fangio into Adelaide? Beloff under pressure from Heidfeld. Heidfeld at the inside of Beloff. With nearly contact with Button, he was that close. It's Fangio now is finding himself blocked by Michael Schumacher, so Schumacher's getting blue flag now. He's just come out of the pits. Is this going to allow Fangio to disappear ahead of Gachot? Or is it going to allow Gachot an opportunity to get past? Gachot thinks about it. Gachot at the inside of Fangio. Bertrand Gachot, brilliant opportunistic dive bomb. That truly was spectacular. It's just like we saw with Button on Beloff, using the inside line at Emirates. Schumacher just parks it in the way. He pulls out the wrong way. Fangio makes a stupid choice, and Gachot thinks, I'm going to get past both of you in that corner then, thank you very much. So Gachot now up to 6th. Fangio drops to 7th. Button now having to defend from Heidfeld. Button has just got massive power disadvantage, and he doesn't have the low downforce to help him. So, yeah, Jensen, you're a bit screwed, unfortunately. Good luck. Dan Gurney about to get, no, sorry, Dan Gurney about to get lapped by Sterling Moss. Is he going to let the red light through? Not effectively. Yeah, he does now, an extra 180. Schumacher gets out of Rossi's way and then turns in for no apparent reason. Because reasons, I suppose. And the gap between Newey and Moss is equalled out to about 8-9 seconds. I'm quite happy as Hamilton's having to pick this lap. Something's happened to Lewis Hamilton. Is he stuck in gear? No. There's an issue on this Cash racing car and he's having to make an extra pit stop. Don't know what it is. But definitely use gears 1 to 5. I don't know what's wrong, but Hamilton's having to get out of the way, and unfortunately for you Cash racing fans, I don't think they're going to be able to make it to the end of the race. I think Hamilton's going to have to do a splash and dash at some point. So disaster there. And one of the Cash drivers drops back, but luckily for them it was not their race leader. And actually Fangio's coming in this lap as well. So is Fangio on this, or maybe it is fuel? Perhaps squeaky bum time has hit these guys kindly. In a way that the car hasn't just instantly blown up, they're just being forced to make an extra pit stop. Let's just check. Anyone else? No? So Lewis lead is fine. Clark's out to 4th, Gash up to 5th. As Fangio is going to come in from 6th place. Rossi getting super close to the back of the Argentinian. Harvick's 10th, 9th, and Hamilton's dropped down to 10th after that stop. So unscheduled stop for no apparent reason. It's taking the second drive of some of these teams apart. Fangio makes it into the pits. Who knows what that's about? I certainly don't. So Hamilton now, having made his stop, is he going to make any inroads on Heidfeld? Right, let's see where Fangio rejoins. So Senna's gone past his 15th as it is. He's down to 16th now as Phil Hill goes through. He's trying to carry speed on the outside, but that's not going to work. Feeds back in 16th and out the point, so that's painful for Fangio. He's going to have to suck that up and live with it. All of this, of course, means Nick Heidfeld, from last on the grid, is now up 20 places into 8th place. Absolutely ridiculous figure. His lead is verging on temporarily being 10 seconds, which is going to be pretty impressive here in lap 41. So, yes, Taki Inoue, first place, comfortable lead, has been leading since the start. I don't think anyone's going to deny him this. Sterling Moss takes 2nd place so far. Red Knight on for podium, but we'll see how that goes. Kimo Kobayashi a further long way back for High Tech. Yeah, High Tech, of course, won 2 races so far. Kobayashi only finished 1 race, although it was on the podium last time out. Where can he get up to in this race? Jim Clark puts the City Pop in 4th. Gasho climbing up to 5th. After having some terrible opening laps and dropping all the way into midfield. There's some serious pace in that Polestar and he is showing it off. It's just a shame his teammate's not still running. Rossi's up to 6th. Jenson Button all the way up to 7th from What's that, 16th on the grid, so impressive driving from Button there. Although he's got to be worried because Nick Heidfeld is right behind him from last on the grid. Pole position at the previous 3 races, double race winning championship leader, is scarily quick today. Lewis Hamilton down to 9th after having to make an extra pit stop, which we still haven't diagnosed. Stefan Beloff was 10th and he was behind Hamilton when he came out pits, but 2.4 seconds tells me not anymore. Prost 11th ahead of Vettel, who's looking for his first points of the season. Gilles Villeneuve 13th. Senna 14th and Phil Hill rounding up the points in 15th. With Juan Manuel Fangio in 16th, another victim of the phantom pit stop. Can he get some points scrambled back for the rest of this race? Max Verstappen is close-ish to the points, but he's been no man's land. Damon Hill is miles behind, Watson even further. Perez, who had a spin, took his teammate out as 20th. Hoy, who had his rear wing annihilated by Dan Gurney, is 21st. Gurney is down behind Hoy. Fleurs 23rd, and Schumacher lost his front wing on his teammate is 24th and about to be lapped by Nick Heidfeld, and he is the last remaining driver. Schumacher's really holding up Heidfeld there, as the gap he had to... Actually, what's happened to Jensen? Has he been pushed wide at the chicane, at the hairpin by... He has, so Heidfeld's got up the inside of Button to the hairpin. Button's just... Oh, that is pathetic really. Hamilton goes through as well. Hamilton now is stuck behind Heidfeld, who has got Schumacher blocking, and well, my sentences suddenly had to change quite thoroughly, as now Button doesn't show any spatial awareness to deal with the fact that Heidfeld was slow on the straight and go past him. I don't know what Button just did there. Not perfect opportunity to follow Schumacher. What is it? He's trying to get out of the way and Button doesn't want to go past. How odd. This is all about Stefan Beloff with this super powerful low downforce setup to streak past Button. Now Button mounts the back of Schumacher. Schumacher stops and almost gets hit by Prost as Button showing that the Harvey's indestructible Buttonmobile is still a massive thing. As Fangio gets past Hill, he runs wide. Yeah, we saw last season that the Harvey mobiles are indestructible until their brakes fail in Austria. Button getting some air just to prove that it still is a thing. So anyway, top 6 are all pretty evenly spaced. Heidfeld's got Hamilton for company, but Hamilton's got more fuel. He might have fresh tyres, but he's got more fuel, so... And Heidfeld is probably a quicker driver, which is why he's pulling away. Beloff now heads the pack that Button should be heading until Schumacher happened. And Prost in 11th is thinking, can I get involved in this? Probably not. A frustrating race for Button gets even more frustrating now. So it was actually 6th place driver, who was that? Rossi, I think I just saw going very wide at the hairpin on his own. On the track map. I might have been seeing things, but we'll see. No, it's just the track map playing around with me. Button up the inside of Beloff, gets the move done. Beloff onto the gravel, Prost gets through. Beloff almost hit by Schumacher, down to 11th, so any good work he made. Last lap was instantly evaporated. Button back up into 9th. Taki Inoue is coming here to put a lap on Damon Hill. Once he's past the jaws, he's got a lot And I mean a lot, it's about 16-17 seconds worth of free airs. Actually, there's contact between Inoue and Hill through the Nürburgring chicane. Only a tiny bit, but it's enough for Inoue to think, oh, probably shouldn't have done that. Oh, no, not ideal. That wasn't ideal, was it? But still, 12.5 second lead is nothing to stick your nose up at. He still made up time on Moss through that chicane, so probably worth it. As we see someone in 13th coming into the pits, is Villeneuve and Senna have made contact. Villeneuve's lost his rear wing, Senna's on his front wing. Oh, it's in confusion with the back marker. So Vettel's hit Schumacher's hit the brakes. Villeneuve's been caught up, and Senna has annihilated the back of the Bravera. You know, it's coming through. What are you supposed to do in that situation? He couldn't go left, he couldn't go right, he just had to hit the brakes and hope that the hit was not too big. So Villeneuve down 17th, Senna up 16th, and Verstappen up into the points there. Now, can Senna and Villeneuve be lucky enough to fill it up with fuel and get to the end of the race? It might just be that lucky. See, so Senna exits the pits in 17th, and Watson gets past. I think Villeneuve slots back in 19th. Can Watson get a run with Senna? No, it's too far back. There's nowhere near enough power in that 2K F1. Normally Schumacher still has his front and rear wing despite causing all that chaos again. What has happened to Senna here? What has happened to Ayrton Senna? He suddenly made up position out of nowhere, and I was like, what's happened here? So his car up into the Adelaide hairpin, and his brakes haven't worked. His brakes haven't worked! Oh, that's a big hit. That's a large impact for Ayrton Senna. His brakes have given up after the pit stop. Obviously something got into the brake duct after the impact, and bang! Into the wall. He's managed to get it free and get it going back on the track, but he's now battling Dan Gurney and needs another front wing. So, bad to worse for Falcon. He does at least let Gurney through without much trouble. And Chris Hoare and Sergio Perez now battling for 19th. Let's ride with the DTK driver, see if we can get past. Oh, lovely, simple move up the inside. Said hello there. General Perez got out of the way. Pretty simple move. Senna here. That's the tragedy. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Ayrton Senna? He forgot to go into the pits. Yes, it's not a story the Falcon would like you to know at all. He finally puts his pit window up. So Inoue is now 13-second lead. It's pretty considerable. Moss has got 7 seconds over Kobayashi. Got a further 5 over Clark. Has got a further 4 over Gasho. So the top 5 is spread out like a lot. Rossi's a further 7 behind, and Heidfeld is now within 3 seconds of Rossi, but it's still a long way. He's got 2.8 over Hamilton, so he's pulling away from Lewis Hamilton. Button's kind of nowhere. Prost is happily in 10th. Beloff has dropped down to 11th. Vettel happily in 12th. Fangio 13th, Phil Hill 14th, and Verstappen is down 15th. Michael Schumacher a lap behind him. Got a big gap down to Damon Hill. And Watson, Villeneuve's, after his loss of a rear wing, is now 18th. And Chris Hoare is pulling away from Sergio Perez quite considerably already. Senna lets Gasho go through. as he waits for the new front wing. Team were obviously still sellotaping the old one back together before they could let him come in to replace it. There aren't really any battles going on at the moment, as really we're just waiting for Heidfeld to catch up to Rossi and for the next lot of pit window, next lot of pit stops really. They're going to be a while away. Button I think was the first to pit last, and so he'll be the trigger for everybody else jumping in. Let's run on board with the Jaws because it is a nice livery. Yeah, let's go here. Then Hills. Oh, hang on. 24 Michael Schumacher's out the race now. So bad. The day of calamity after calamity for the Bangalore driver ends with another retirement, and he still hasn't scored any points. Oh, engine this time. Engine this time for the Bangalore driver, and I mean, last season was pretty tragic, but this season has been equally as abysmal for Schumacher. Bangalore, one of the best liveries on the grid, just worst speed, luck, power, everything that could go wrong for them would go wrong. The big cloud of smoke sits over turn 3. It slowly clears up. Phil Hill here trying to lap Senna, but Senna's got new tyres and he's thinking, I'd carry it. Oh, it was Hill. Punch Senna right out the way. Senna gets onto 2 wheels at the Chateau d'Eau corner. He just has to live with it. Button's still not going in for his stop yet. Heidfeld's 21 places gained is impressive. It's sad that Chris Hoy lost his rear wing so early because it was going to be fun to see how those two would compare as they climbed through the pack. Because climb 8 seemed impressive, but not when you realise that, well, the other guys climbed 21. But Hoy did lose his rear wing through no fault of his own, so explains why he's so far back. Vettel now 12th, he's on for points so far. The other drivers, well, Flirsch is 22nd, so she needs mayhem up ahead. She wants to get some points. And of course Schumacher's already out, so he's not scoring anything. Hamilton, big slide out the final chicane. As the gap from him to Nick Heidfeld has gone up to 7 seconds. It was 2 and a bit seconds last time I looked. There don't seem to be any back marks in the way, so Hamilton's just had a terrible lap somewhere. He's fallen away. Heidfeld is already practicing an overtake for Rossi. That's how confident he is that he's got the power to get past. He's just got to catch up first, I suppose, but it's 1.6 seconds the gap at the moment. Got plenty of time in this lap. The new race just started lap 50, so there's 18 laps to go. 18 and a half for Heidfeld as it stands. So, he can get past, he needs to be patient. Although he's aiming high, he's thinking, how far up can I get? Rossi's just the first of many. Here we go. Pit stops will be happening soon. Jensen Button's fuel tank is getting a bit low. So he'll probably be in at the end of next lap. Harpo's got the gap down to 1.2 seconds as they exit the final corner. 22.8 compared, so he's half a second quicker per lap. Isn't it, Cardfeld? So he should be pretty close there. Well, that's probably going to be a battle made up in the pit window. Here we go, so Button coming in this lap. Nobody else looking light yet. Yep, just Jensen Button, so short fueled and then short fueled again. Button's got clear at the moment and looks like there's a massive clear gap behind, so he should drop out in somewhere pretty safe. I think actually Nue is looking like he might get somewhere bad to fall into, but he's got to hope they all pit together at about the same time he does. Vettel's looking light now, so he's going to make his stop pretty soon. As Jim Clark is also probably getting close to a stop. Kobayashi looking light. Fuel warnings are starting to appear. But only Button is committed to a stop so far, so he's got longest time on this final set of tyres, so his pace will drop off compared to everyone else. Probably have a longer pit stop because of it. Heidfeld's closing in on Rossi. Is slowed down a tiny bit. It has got it just under the second now. Anyway, carrying on, so he's still not got the fuel warning. He's still fine for another couple of laps. Moss as well, still happy. Kobayashi now low fuel and stuck behind Perez now. He's trying to get past Bangalore into the light shade corner, but Perez is defending the inside. There's contact and Kobayashi's on the dirt. Perez really defending the position from the third place driver. No idea why, but he is. Oh, inside of turn 1, Perez does not want him to go through. Kobayashi is in lap is turning out to be a complete disaster. Gonna sit behind Perez. Which way is he gonna go? Perez just stands in a really stupid place. Kobayashi is losing heaps of time in all of this. Clark's coming in, but he's defending from a ghost apparently. Kobayashi is still behind Perez and is falling away now. Why? He's going to let Gurney through if he's not careful. Vettel looks like he's in the pits. Kobayashi is losing so much time to Sterling Moss here. He had any chance of catching up. He's not doing it. Clark, meanwhile, is missing a chance to get closer and closer and closer. Jim Clark here could launch an attack back at Kamui Kobayashi. Thanks to all that time he's lost behind Perez, as Perez actually streaked away from Kobayashi there. Gasher could use this as a blinding in lap. He could get past the both of them. Rossi makes it in, so it's the City Fox big double stack. So Hamilton has got past Clark now. Can Hamilton streak past Kobayashi on the exit here? Not if he's that sideways. This isn't Tokyo Drift. Heidfeld's coming in this lap. Gasher's coming off that. Moss and Manue still aren't coming in. Whereas these though. Damon Hill's going to come in. Phil Hill's making it in this lap. As Beloff. So Nue's going another lap on this fuel tank, so he's quite confident as it stands. So is Sterling Moss. Moss is coming in this lap though. Gasher makes it to the right cherry corner. Falls into the pits quite comfortably. Keifeld also going to come in this lap. The next thing is Houghton has got past Kobayashi somewhere on this lap. Must have been into Adelaide then. Yep, so Kobayashi's exit of the pits wasn't that great. Hamilton up the inside. Next thing, stick Kobayashi a lot of exit curb and falls away. Jim Clark now needs to use this as a chance to get past Kobayashi. Because Hamilton, we think, has got to stop again. All of these have got past Gasher though in the stops, which I was predicting. Hamilton is going to get blocked here by Perez, who's just exited the pits. So Hamilton's in the slipstream with the low downforce. Is this going to be enough to keep Kobayashi behind? Probably is. Oh, Perez, that was not great driving. Inui's going another lap. Here we go. So Inui finally says that he's going to come into this pit window this lap. Beloff really gets out of spite. And Moss is going to make it into the pit lane after 17 seconds behind the race leader. Kobayashi sat behind Hamilton here thinking, right, you've got the same power as me, but I've got the grip, so I'm going to have to get you in one of these corners. Otherwise Clark is going to get me. Clark doesn't have the power, so he really is going to have to invent something in a really stupid place if he wants to get through. Kobayashi has, I think, on the brakes into Lychee, but not this lap. Hamilton is really holding up Kobayashi here, which is allowing Gasher to catch up to the pair of them. What can Kobayashi do? So it's in the slipstream. Clark is falling away. Is he going to send it on the brakes? Is he going to send it on the brakes? No, he's going to punt Hamilton. There's contact. It's not enough. It's not enough to get through. Now Hamilton stays ahead of Kobayashi, and Clark is still sitting here hoping something mayhem happens and can get through, but he doesn't want it to be too much because he will get through soon because Gasher is lurking. From the track map and the timing screens, it would seem that Takinui has successfully made a pit stop. Comes out comfortably in the lead again. We're following this action here. Hamilton's desperately defending from Kobayashi. Trying to find a way through. Hamilton was tied to line through the chicane, which has allowed him to just gap Kobayashi down the straight. That was a crucial bit of driving there, although Clark has fallen away from behind Kobayashi through the corner. Gap has opened up, so Kobayashi isn't going to have to make the lunge this lap. Gasher is sat there, not really closing up. Hamilton's pace is obviously still good enough that Gasher can't close up, even if Kobayashi thinks he can go quicker. We have a yellow flag as 21st has retired from the race, as we just like to go past it with Hamilton. Here's that. It appears to be a NLE. It is Max Verstappen. So Verstappen has now fallen far. He was in the points. He's in the points, and he's just snapped. Car's turned off, and defending champion now out of the French Grand Prix. The runners are just starting to drop now. They are getting closer to squeaky bum time, I must say. Chris Hoy's going to come in this lap from 16th. His final stop of the day, he hopes. Whoa, hang on. Right, and all of that, Jim Clark has got past Kobayashi. Puff of smoke there. Kobayashi's had a lunge at Hamilton, but they've both made contact. As we head towards the light chute, Hamilton's come back. Hamilton has come back at Kobayashi. He's defending up the inside. And Clark has slotted through perfectly. But inside of the chicane, and Kobayashi had to live with him. They're now going to battle down the front stretch. Kobayashi's got more power. Can't get past Clark. And Gasho has finally caught up to the pack. Heidfeld is close to Rossi. Not going to make the move there this lap. So Gasho decided to join in the fun. Kobayashi's now stuck behind Jim Clark. Because of a good exit. Heidfeld streaking up behind Rossi. Can he get up the inside of him into the hairpin? Yes, he can. Rossi gets sent wide, but Fangio wasn't close enough to really capitalise. So Senna is now the last running car in 22nd. Perez, Watson, Flörsch, Gurney, Hill and Hoy making a stop at the points. Giovinazzo 15th. Giovinazzo 14th, Vettel 13th, Beloff 12th, Prost 11th, Button 10th, Fangio 9th, Rossi 8th, Heidfeld 7th, Gasho, Kobayashi, Clark and Hamilton all dueling here for the last podium slot. Although I still think that Lewis Hamilton has to pit again for a quick splash and dash, probably about 3 laps from the end, which would be so cruel to deny Cass a double podium. But we'll see how this goes. So at the moment really, if my suspicion is true, Clark is here net podium. And Kobayashi is going to have to come up with something to get past him. Or High-Tech will miss out. Moss is very comfortable. Inoue is even more comfortable. They are nowhere near anybody else. Just happily streaking away. Yeah, tack in. I was saying Inoue is comfortable. 21.4. How about that? New fastest lap of the race. Bit of a twitch there from Clark through the lap. Gasho is sat there going, right, how am I going to make a move here? Kobayashi's got the straight line speed, he's got the power. What can I do about it? Hamilton's made a really terrible run through the chicane there, which has allowed Clark to close up, and is allowing Kobayashi to have a think about a move into turn 1. You have to be alongside if you want any chance to do that. It's hard for him now, so it's fastest lap. So High-Tech have got the pace, they just can't do the moves. They have to think about a move on Clark, but isn't brave enough. It's too late in the race, and they don't want to risk a front wing going pinging off. He's sat there, so Cass got a lot of power, and he's got low downforce, so Hamilton is surely in the fastest car in a straight line, which is why he's so much further ahead. There's Inoue now resets the fastest lap. So I'm feeling it's going to be Inoue versus Heidfeld for the fastest lap here. They're going to be trading that. Clark's Kobayashi gets a big bump of curb there, and Gasho is thinking, I can milk you. I can get past this. Actually up ahead, Clark has a run on Hamilton. Clark up the inside of Lewis Hamilton into the light shade corner. Hamilton forces and Hamilton spins. Lewis Hamilton spins. Out of third place and he's half spun again and he's hit the wall that Felix da Costa hit. Lewis Hamilton, so... Right, what's happened here? So, Clark is closest to Hamilton and he thinks, screw it, I'm going for it. He launches an attack. It's a brilliant dive bomb. Hamilton just was able to notice and went through. He tried to get, but on the curb he loses the rear. Spins out then too much right foot and loses place. Gasho in all of this. So Bertrand Gasho has found a way to get past Kobayashi in all this. So we'll watch some Bertrand Gasho. So Kobayashi gets too much cuts. I was thinking here, right, this is it. Gasho's going to dive up the inside of Kobayashi into the next corner because he's got to run. In the end, he doesn't need to. Well, he doesn't because Kobayashi's got the pace, but they're side by side up ahead. So he's thinking, right, what if Clark and Hamilton do? Clark kind of concedes it, but Hamilton then spins, completely blocks Kobayashi. And Gasho says thank you, so, you know, well, I said I think Hamilton's going to pit again. Ironic. He is having to pit again, although not for the reason I was expecting. So that's going to drop him back to who knows where. Dan Gurney's coming in for a fuel stop. That's probably going to promote Chris Hoy a bit as Senna's lapped by his teammate, although a lot of damage caused that. Inoue is going to start lap 61. Moss in his second is a 120.9. Having avoided the spinning Hamilton, Clark has now got a big gap to Gasho. Now sat in fourth with Kobayashi behind. Kobayashi's not had much luck there. Heidfeld up 22 places into 6th here. That is... what a drive there from the high-tech driver. Rossi up to 7th. Fangio's gone on the outside of Hamilton at the Imola chicane, just because that's just where he caught him. Button's 10th is going to become 9th. Prost 11th is going to become 10th, and Beloff's 12th will become 11th. Vettel looking to score his first points. Can he make it to the end? Villeneuve potentially could find. I don't think Villeneuve, but who knows what Hamilton's going to exit the pits, although if he's close to them then he probably will overtake them. Hamilton makes the pit stop. Heidfeld's having to wait for Gurney to get out of his way. Chris Hoy's 19th place doesn't really reflect the pace he had. And he was close to Heidfeld. He made a brilliant start. He was up 11 places on lap 2. It all went wrong for him. Flörsch is probably going to have to make another stop there, unfortunately, 17th place. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton has exited the pits in 14th and he's 7 seconds down on Phil Hill, so new tyres, powerful car, maybe he can catch up, but Inoue's got to get past Hill, so Hill's going to lose time with that. Maybe a pass for 13th is possible, I don't think so. It'll have to be a last lap lunge if he wants it to happen. So Kobayashi now is sat behind Gasho here. He doesn't have a drag disadvantage, and he does have the power advantage, but he just can't keep up through the middle sector. So Kobayashi is going to be stuck here in 5th. Disappointing day really for this high-tech driver. You know, that car is quick and everything can fight against him so far. There's only 5 laps to go. It's global Formula Automobilista, anything can happen. I mean, we're about to hit squeaky bum time, so it really could all happen. Gash takes a bit of curb, but Kobayashi takes more curb, runs wide, scrapes the tyres, and Gash has gone. The gap's nearly a second now. Kobayashi is just bottling it at every opportunity. So gap between Hamilton and Phil here is 6 and a bit seconds. Can he close that? Who knows? Who knows? I certainly don't. I mean, I can guess. My guess is no. I mean, I'd like it to happen, just so there's some action in the last lap. But Kobayashi's not really. No, he's fallen away from Gasher, and I think Gasher is quite safe in 4th now. Taki Inoue starts lap 65. Completely peerless, he's just disappearing in front of the pack, nowhere near anyone. I suppose Heidfeld could have been a challenger, but he's obviously lost so much time by starting at the back that, well, yeah, that happens. Darren Moss is 2nd place. It's also comfortable. He did lose it off the start to Kobayashi, but quickly wrestled the place back. Hasn't looked back since. We have a Jim Clark with that great move on Hamilton, which Hamilton managed to completely bottle. Puts him up in 3rd. And Bertrand Gachot is, well, he's capitalised on some spectacular bad driving from other people to make up into 4th place, despite himself being pretty poor on the first lap. Sergio Perez has held Taki Inoue out massively. I was just following that on the track map. It was looking pretty dire as Inoue's. Perez just does not want to let anybody through. It just does not compute with him. I mean, it's the race leader, 3 laps from the end of the race. Get out of the way! What are you doing, Sergio? Well, he's fine now. Hang on, Gilles Villeneuve's out of the race. I didn't even notice. Oh, he's had a big smash somewhere as well. Engine's gone, he's got some air. So heading out to Nürburgring. Oh, big twitch on the way in. Bang! Oh, massive aerial accident for Gilles Villeneuve. Fire out the back and everything. Oh, it's an engine blow up. Oh, I've got to find the right camera. Yeah, so on the way into Nürburgring, his engine's gone, oil all over the rear wheels, and bang! Big flip, front wing goes flying. And Villeneuve's day goes from not that great to big owie. Well, let's hope he's okay, because that's a big smash. But spectacular ending to Gilles Villeneuve's day, it would seem. Does of course leave Stefan Beloff as the sole and Bavarian race, and that does actually promote Damon Hill up into 15th place for Jules GP, so perhaps they can get a point today. It'd be nice to see for the brand new team to the championship. Heidfeld has brought the gap down to Kobayashi to just under 2 seconds, so Heidfeld's getting pretty close to his teammate, and actually Kobayashi is going to be swallowed up his teammate rather than attacking Gachot, who is closing on Clark, so this battle for the final podium spot isn't yet over. Fangio's getting a bit low on fuel. Yes, he had that worrying extra pit stop in the middle. Might he have to stop on the last lap? I sure hope he doesn't. Just can't lift and coast and make it across the line. Do what we need to do. Hoy here battling Watson for 16th place. If anyone else drops out, such as Dan Gurney's engine is blown up now. Which, as soon as I said if anybody else drops out, I was kind of trying to say anyone in front of them drops out. But, well, Gurney's engine's gone. Yeah, if anybody else drops out, these two could get an extra point like Damon Hill has just found out. Porsche is coming up to the engine block area. I was right. Is Hamilton catching up to Phil Hill? 3.5 seconds. That's not enough. That's not enough. There's not any back marks in the way. They are the back marks in the way, actually, to be honest. So, 2 laps to go. Bertrand Gachot, can he mount a final lap assault on Jim Clark? 122.221. Okay, so Clark has responded and gone quicker that lap. 2 laps to go. Don't think he's going to mount anything at the moment. 0.9 seconds. It's not happening so far. As Heidfeld is definitely closer to Kobayashi than Kobayashi is to Gachot now. Kobayashi's pace at the end of this race has just been terrible. As Fangio is going to have to make a final lap pit stop, splash and dash. That is galling. Where is he going to pop out? And he should still score some points because it's a long way back to 15th place. So he should be fine. Chris Hoy has managed to get past John Watson. Pardon me. And there are only 20 cars running now. So we've had 8 retirements. Taki Inoue is on the last lap here. Moss is also. And Gachot, he did get the gap down to 7/10, but it's now 8-9/10. I think unless Clark does something cruel and ironic, he's got this. Gachot's not going to be able to make it past this lap. Kobayashi's got to defend from his teammate from the back of the grid. Kobayashi, you started third, and you're half a second ahead of your teammate who started last. That is not good reading at all. Heidfeld almost pile drives into the back of his teammate there. He's so confident on the brakes. Might happen later on, but it has been a peerless drive from the Japanese driver. Taki Inoue out the final corner to take his and Cash Racing's first win ever. Actually, Hamilton had caught up to Phil Hill in the background. It was a photo finish between them, but Phil Hill just takes it on the line. Sterling Moss is going to come across the line in second place to give Red Knight their first ever podium. They deserved it all last season, and there you go, second place for Red Knight. Fantastic result. Clark has held off Gachot. And now, can Heidfeld launch a final corner lunge on Kobayashi to get 5th place? It's his teammate, he's got too much respect for that. Clark is going to take the final podium place in 3rd place, ahead of Gachot. Kobayashi and Heidfeld cross the line, 5th and 6th for High-Tech. Brilliant drive from one, terrible drive from the other. Rossi takes 7th. Button, a while back, it's going to be 8th place for Harvey Racing. Really fine game goes, and Prost will take 9th for Falcon. Stefan Beloff will round out the top 10. Fangio takes 11th after his final lap pit stop, and Vettel in 12th place will score his first points of the season, lifting him off the top at the bottom of the pile. He's the last driver classified across the line. Phil Hill takes 13th a lap down, Hamilton 14th a lap down after a big crash at final corner, and Damon Hill takes the last points in 15th, Hoy 16th, Watson 17th, Fleury 18th, Senna 19th and Perez 20th, the last runner. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this race. If you have, please go to the YouTube page, hit like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see the rest of the championship. And like I said earlier, come and join us on RaceDepartment. There are now 2 spaces for teams to automatically qualify, but still more teams can join after that. We'll just have some pre-qualifying. So that has been the French Grand Prix. It's been Magny-Cours' debut in the series. It wasn't here last week. So stay tuned until next week for the American Grand Prix, which will be what appears in the next round. So Clark takes Siggy Pop onto the podium. Gasher gets 4th pole star. Kobayashi with Hardfeld down in 6th, which Clark and Gasho and Newey all ahead of Nick Heidfeld. The Drivers' Championship will definitely have closed up slightly up the top, especially with Inoue's pole position. But yes, as Vettel makes his way slowly down the back straight, it's time to say it's been nice to see you, and until the American Grand Prix, goodbye.